Ivan, for people out there who've never applied a ceramic coating before,
right,
ours are incredibly easy to install.
Very, very easy, very simple and straightforward. If you can apply a wax, a ceramic coating is easier. It's not difficult to do. There's a few little steps that we're gonna go over here, and once you understand what we're doing, you'll see that there's no more fear involved in applying a ceramic coating. But now we want to use the panel prep, and panel prep is an extremely important part of a ceramic coating. Our vehicle, as we know it, is clean, it's pristine. This panel prep is the last little insurance we have. We've been wearing gloves throughout the whole process because we don't want to get our finger oils on the car. We also don't want to get the chemicals on us. That being said, the panel prep, a lot of people, oh, no, I skipped the panel prep, or I just use an IPA. Wrong answer. We spent the time, the R&D, the effort to develop a panel prep to make your coating installation easier, safer, and better.
This is a panel prep,
right,
compatible with our ceramic coatings.
Yeah.
You can play Russian roulette out there, but what we're telling you as the company is that if you want the maximum longevity out of your coating, use the panel prep, wipe down the vehicle appropriately as we're gonna show you, and you're gonna get the most out of the coatings.
Yeah, and if you're using another brand of coating, use their panel prep. I'm not gonna tell you to use our panel prep with XYZ brand of coating. You don't need to. You need to use theirs. If they spent the money and the time and the effort to develop a panel prep, use theirs. Because some panel preps have fragrances in them, some have colorants, some have surfactants, some don't, some have IPA, some have propanol. They're all different mixes, and we've tested our panel prep to go with our coatings. They've tested their panel prep to go with their coating.
And when you do panel prep, you don't want to just spray on the panel. You want to spray onto your short nap towel. So this white one, as Ivan's going to demonstrate, he sprays pretty generously panel prep onto that towel. And then he's going to take the towel and put it on the paint.
Right.
And after that, before all of it flashes away, you're going to use this towel as your final buffing
Right.
towel.
Now, a silver vehicle, you won't see it much, so I'll start on the window here. And basically, you see that the surface is wet with the panel prep. I want to go with this towel while it's still wet, because what we're doing is we're floating any possible oils, solvents to the surface of the panel prep. Once we've floated it to that surface of the panel prep, then we're taking it off with this. As opposed to seeing some people, they just spray it on the surface and sort of work it into the surface. That's not what we're wanting to do. We want to lift away any oils or greases or waxes or whatever. So work in small sections, and you want to work a section before it dries.
And once you've done that initial pre-treat, your towel's going to be wet for a little bit.
Yeah, as long as your towel is wet, you're good to go. Now on this vehicle, if we look very closely, there's still the odd little scratch here and there. And the polishing that we did on this is not to remove scratches. So don't think that you're going to be removing 100% of the scratches and defects. You're not. It's to add gloss, and it's to clean the paint.
Yeah, I was going to say, we didn't talk about our polishing philosophy, which that's all it is we're teaching you how to get shiny paint. If there are scratches, it'll have shiny scratches, but from 5 feet away, it's going to look amazing. It's going to be very clean and receptive to ceramic coating.
Yeah, preservation over perfection.
As if there was such thing as perfection, Ivan.
Perfect paint, I don't think, has ever really existed. In someone's mind, maybe, but in reality, there's always a defect hidden somewhere. And some of the best paint polishers that do show cars will tell you that there's no such thing as perfect paint. So Nick, I'll let you finish that side.
Okay.
I'll go around to the other side.
As for this matte vinyl, we didn't polish it, but we are going to panel prep it. So while it's still visually flashing, I'm going to use the second towel. And again, this is going to make it much more receptive and improve the longevity of the ceramic coating. There you go.
Looking good, Nick.
Panel prepped, clean,
ready for coating.
Ivan, what coating are we going to put on this bad boy?
We're going to put the 3-year, and a couple reasons for that. First of all, he doesn't keep his vehicles longer than 3 years. Secondly, goes to the car wash on a regular basis. And the 8-year actually stands up to the car wash better. But the car wash he goes to is not really good at drying the vehicle, so we want the best water spot resistance we can get.
Perfect, and that's with that graphene oxide in the 3-year coating.
Yeah, exactly. So
promotes the water spot resistance.
The reduced graphene oxide helps promote the water spot resistance. It's not water spot proof, but it's going to help, and also it's going to, make the vehicle slick and glossy and all that fun stuff that you like from a coating.
And when we promise you bare bones, this is also, if you're on a budget, the least expensive coating that we offer.
Exactly. So off we go, get our coating.
It might be camouflage, but you have an applicator here.
Yeah, yeah, so red applicator, red gloves, and I have our 3-year graphene coating. Now, one thing that's very important with the graphene coating, the graphene oxide doesn't stay in suspension. Some of it does, some of it doesn't, so we always want to shake it up. While we're shaking it up, we'll take a look, we make sure that everything is nice and clean, which it is, and we're ready to apply the coating.
This might seem like I'm using the same towels from panel prep. That is not the case. These are fresh towels. These happen to be new towels. I like new towels for coating, but you just put these in your bucket of rinseless wash when you're done with the job. Let them soak for 30 minutes, and they're gonna be good to go in the wash. They're not gonna be hydrophobic. So same principle that we've talked about when you're drying your vehicle and you've used a drying aid, right? But we do have 2 towels, and this is a crucial step, I believe, for your leveling process.
Exactly. Now, for the coating itself, I'm going to be applying 10 or 12 drops to the applicator. So there we go.
That's a dark colored coating, so this is different. This is with the graphene.
Right, and closing off the bottle, that way if I drop it, I don't worry about it. And our bottles are aluminum, by the way. A lot of people say glass bottle coatings. Well, it should actually be termed small bottle coatings because these are aluminum. Therefore, if we do drop them, we're not going to have a shattered piece of glass and ceramic coating all over the floor. I put a lot on here, and that is just to begin with. We're not going to be using 10 or 12 drops throughout the whole panel or throughout the whole vehicle once we have this, for lack of a better term, primed. So we're wanting to get the coating on here, and once we've spread it on the applicator, then we can just add 1 or 2 drops per panel. It's not a lot. And as long as we're leaving a trail of liquid behind, that's all we want. We don't want it thick. A thick coating actually can cause you problems because what happens is we apply the coating, you level the coating, it looks great, there's no high spots. You come back an hour later and there's high spots.
It's happened, I've seen it, but the question is for someone out there who's bought the coating, they put the work in, they don't want to not put this on the surface. They don't want to err on the side of not putting enough coating on.
Right.
So how do you know you're actually putting it on?
Well, in most cases you can see it. On a silver car and a white car, it's a little more difficult. If you have a darker colored vehicle, it's easier to see. On the windows, on this one, especially this vehicle, they're tinted at the back. It'll be easy to see that, and we'll get you a close-up once we get to that area. But I always like to start with the hood because it's a larger panel and it's horizontal. Meaning that since I have so much in my applicator pad, I'm not going to get runs down the side of the car because I have enough that I can potentially get runs going down the car.
It gives you a sense to kind of play and get a feel for what you're doing.
Exactly.
In an area where it's horizontal, which is
exactly
helpful.
So let's start this off. And normally I would box in a panel, but again, I have a lot on my applicator here, so I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out just for this panel. As I get going down the side of the vehicle, I'm going to be boxing and filling. But now I'm going to fill, then box. Circular motions. Now, we prefer circular motion for a number of reasons. One is ergonomics. It's actually better for you as a human being to go in a circular motion as opposed to a stop and start motion of a cross hatching. And let me bring the camera in a little closer here. So we can see right here, we have a very heavy accumulation of coating. So I'm just going to go back over it with the applicator and spread that out a little further. Now in a silver vehicle like this is not the easiest choice for a beginner. So Nick, you're going to go by feel as opposed to by looks. And we can sort of see in the light in some areas, and we have very poor lighting in here, but you can sort of see oil slick on water look or a rainbow effect. And we take the towel, we go over it, and does it feel immediately slick?
It feels a little rough over here. It felt slick here.
Right, so let it sit for another 30 seconds or so.
I was gonna say, people are gonna ask, how big of a section do I apply my coating to? How long do I let it sit before I level with that initial short nap towel?
Right, and there's a few variables that happen here. One variable is temperature. Ideally, you want to be above 50 degrees Celsius when you're applying a coating. You can stretch it. Fahrenheit, yeah. Sorry, not 50 degrees. 50 degrees Celsius is a little warmer. But you want to be above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. The lowest you can go is 40, and you're causing yourself potential issues there. But if you have to, it can be done. How's that now?
It's slick.
Okay.
Yep.
So we do the initial wipe with the low nap towel. And I'm
not putting pressure either.
No, no pressure.
Get a feel for it.
Yeah, it should just glide across the surface. And then we do the insurance wipe with the fluffy towel. And the towel should just feel like it's going over.
Incredibly slick.
Yeah.
And I'm going over the edges.
Always.
You went over the edge here. You didn't on this matte vinyl.
No.
I noticed that for a reason. But
so now I'm gonna go to the matte vinyl. And when you're dealing with a matte surface, you have to level sooner. And there's no getting rid of high spots on a matte surface. You can't polish them off. So we have to be a little more in tune with what we're doing.
With windows, with matte vinyl, with plastics,
yeah.
I almost like to apply and level.
So I added a couple drops to the surface. And again, I'm going to start this one in the middle. And as I'm applying, I'll work from this side. Nick, you can start at the front and work your way back.
You good with me to level?
Yep. Okay. You should be fairly close. Because of the added surface area that the matte presents, we end up with it curing much faster, or cross-linking is a better term.
And then my insurance towel, which neither of these I'm getting wet, right? If you got your leveling towel getting wet, you're just wiping too soon.
Yeah, and now, again, I just put 2 drops on the applicator, and as long as I'm feeling the glide, and it's not grabby, I don't need to add more. And when you're putting it on thinner like this, you're still getting great coverage. You know, the instructions should really just say, get it on the paint, make sure you have no high spots.
And figure it out from there. No.
Well, and getting too much on the paint is not going to help you. As long as it's on the paint, it's on the paint. More is not going to help you. And by spreading it a little thinner like I've done, we actually get a faster working time, which means the leveling is sooner.
Yeah. And you're not worried about not coat. I mean, you're getting the whole vehicle, right?
We're getting the whole vehicle. And
boy, I know that's a scary thing. Like, am I getting enough on the paint?
Right. If you've never applied a coating before, start on the windows. By starting on the windows, you can see. Now, if you have a dark colored car, don't worry about it. Start anywhere on the car. But if you have a light colored car like this, silver or a white, or even worse, a pearlescent white, those have to be the worst ones because the pearlescent hides that rainbow on water look, or oil slick on water look.
If you're like me, you don't believe Ivan. You're just gonna have to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
In the field, but just listen to Ivan. Light colored paint is not all that easy when it comes to coating.
So now, when you're working in a team, and this is something that is fun to do as a team, first of all. So let's say your significant other didn't want to help you with polishing and washing and all that. Get them to help you with this.
It's so rewarding to see how shiny it is too.
Yeah, and what Nick is doing is physically rewarding. It's just so fun to feel that slickness. So as we're doing this as a team, I'm announcing to Nick what I'm doing. So we did the fender flare, we did the fender. It's a little, yeah.
I'm gonna give it a second. I wiped the plastics off right away.
Again, 2 drops, not 10, 12, just 2. And I'm gonna go, Nick, A-pillar all the way to the back.
Okay.
And the reason I'm doing this is because Nick is working on that front fender, so I don't want to get in his way. And when I'm done here, Nick can start at the front, do his portion of it, And when he's back here, I can be applying to the door. We're not in each other's way. So Nick, I've done the pillars and the rear quarter panel, overlapping onto the hatch and the light. So while Nick is on his way, I'm just going to do this window at the same time. He'll have time to get here. And on the window, we can see the oil slick on water look, the cross-linking, what it's doing. So while Nick is wiping all that off, now I'm back to the front door. So Nick, I'm starting with the upper half of the door, working around this little emblem here, getting all this, and then we'll do the lower half afterwards. You want to break it into a relatively manageable section.
And I always like to take a light opposite me, and then at an angle as it bounces off, I can often see, okay, did I leave any high spots? How's it looking? So take advantage of a light opposite you, let it bounce toward you, and then play with the angles like this if you so choose to look for high spots. If you don't know what a high spot looks like, well, it's hard to explain it, but you'll see it sunset, sunrise, kind of darker time, so you kind of want to play with the light in your shop as you're doing this to make sure you're not getting any.
Yeah, and I'll purposely leave a high spot on that back window.
Okay.
We'll get back to it later.
And I'm addressing the plastics and glass immediately.
There we go. I got a good high spot there. So the plastic and glass, the mirror is done, and from this molding up on the door.
Okay. How come we're not doing the lowers?
I'll go back to do the lowers. It's just I wanted to keep it to a manageable section for you.
Okay, thank you.
And then I'll do the same up here. I'll start with the paint because on the paint, it can cross-link a little longer. We're not concerned about it. I'm making sure to overlap back onto that rear fender. Getting in and out of the door handle. And again, I'm just going to stick above that molding. So now I've got the molding and everything above it. Let me get this window and the moldings around the window. And then Nick can come here and do this. And he can actually start with the window and the moldings because on the paint, that cross-linking takes a little longer. The pore size in the glass is smaller than on the paint. So that's why it cross-links faster. And now while he's doing that, I can do the bottom half of this door.
All I need to have you do is explain it to me one time, why I need to do windows and plastics right away. And after that, if you're like me guys out there, you get into, if you're doing this enough, you just want to know what works. But it's always nice to know why. Yeah, when you start out. Yeah, we're not putting pressure on the applicator as we apply or on the leveling towels as we level.
No, and we can tell you how till we're blue in the face, but without telling you the why, it sort of doesn't tell you anything. So Nick?
Although when you're training your techs in a detail shop, they don't need to know the why, do they?
Yes, they do.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Definitely. You want everyone to know why you're doing it.
Okay. Not just do it this way?
Yeah, exactly. No. When they know the why, then it makes it intelligible why they're doing it that way. Yeah. Not just because my boss told me. So from the molding down, including all the gray plastics down there.
Okay.
Now this is a new vehicle, and that's why we're putting this on the plastics. If it's a vehicle that we've had to restore the plastics, I don't like putting ceramic coating on there.
Oh, it's starting to look so good.
Yeah, and then the trim around the fender here. Now we have a problem with our coatings. They're very self-leveling. So that high spot that I put on the back window, not there. It's self-leveled itself out.
That's a good problem, isn't it?
So let me put it on a little thicker this time. It's so thick it's running. So there we go.
There it is.
Hopefully it's still there in a couple minutes. So Nick, all this fender arch here, and then I'll fill in this little bumper section here, and then the rear bumper. So I started at the corner of the bumper, Nick, and just working my way around the whole bumper.
And it is too early for me to level there. I just felt it. It was grippy.
Yeah. So this little bumperette on the side, then I'll start on the hatch. Rear spoiler first.
So the upper part, it does really give a nice sheen to the plastics.
It sure does.
It's not a gloss, it's just an additional little sheen.
You can be my second set of eyeballs here on the glass if you want. Make sure I don't.
Yep. There you go. Okay. So now we have the upper part of the hatch done, the back window, the wiper arm. Now we're going to do the hatch. And we'll see if this one cooperates with us this time. It seems to have a mind of its own. Some of them want to. Yeah.
But you gotta press this lock button when you're ready.
Oh, okay.
So when you're going down, then you press the lock button when you press that again.
Never mind.
Wait, one more time, because there it is.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, you just press this and then press it again.
Okay.
I didn't remember what it was until I felt it.
Yeah. So working around the edges first, boxing it in, and then I'm going to fill it in. Making sure to get the tail light at the same time. Making sure to get really in and around these letters. As we said, this car is unfortunately going to be going through a drive-through car wash. And in doing so, they tend to leave a lot of accumulation, especially on the back of the vehicle, because their brushes can't get here. The pressure, and here we go again. You're the Subaru owner, you get it.
All right, so you got to kind of drive with this guy.
Okay,
There we go.
leave it there. Actually, this is great for getting in and around these letters. So yeah, we want to make sure that in and around these letters is well done, because a car that goes through a drive-through car wash a lot, you'll actually see like a scummy accumulation around there that's hard to get off. Be sure to get the backup camera and all this stuff under here, because that's another area that doesn't get cleaned very often. Off you go. Good luck. As the hatch goes up and down and up and down and up and down.
Oh, wipes off nice.
And now on this side, Nick, I'm going to go backwards, meaning I'm going to start at the back fender and work my way up to the A-pillar, and then we'll come back to do the doors. And I did the molding as well, Nick. So tail light, the whole back fender and the molding, and then I'll work my way to the front here. And as I'm doing the front fender, I'm actually overlapping onto the hood and onto the front door, and vice versa. We always want to overlap onto the next panel. That way we're sure we're getting coverage everywhere.
I'm going to meet you just to do the fender here.
Yeah.
Still kind of letting this flash. I think it's about ready.
Yeah, give it a try.
All the way up?
Yeah, all the way to the A-pillar and then the front fender.
Oh, it looks so shiny.
Yeah. So here we have the high spot. And one of the things is you can see the high spot, and it's been there for at least half an hour now. There are two ways of going at it. Try just with your leveling towel, just half of it, just to see if it comes off.
See if it moves?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. I can just do that quick and then...
Yeah, we're done. So no more high spot.
Easy.
But if you accidentally left your high spot a little too long, we take our applicator, wet the surface, and before it starts cross-linking, immediately go after it. And if your high spot has been there a couple hours, you might need to do that a couple times. And actually, you want to rub it with your applicator. So you're going to be working that high spot, and the chemical reaction is going to break it down slowly and surely. and then you level it with your towels, and we're good to go.
Yeah, with the one towel, I didn't have it all folded. It's a window,
yeah.
It's glass, but definitely on paint, you want to make sure you've got your towel folded. You don't want to use pressure to try to make this happen, right?
Exactly.
You use a few repetitive no pressure passes.
There we go. It's an easy coating to apply. You saw us wash, decontaminate, and get this paint ready for polishing and coating in a previous video. It's linked below. And then you've seen us apply the coat, well actually you've seen us polish the car, apply the coating, do the paint prep, everything like that. It's simple, it's easy, it's something you can do at home.
All I'm gonna do after this is put these 2 leveling towels, both of which have some coating on there. I'm putting them in my rinseless wash bucket, or my Incredible Suds bucket if I use that. That's our car wash soap. Let it soak for 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Give it time for the surfactants in our soaps, our rinseless wash, our car wash soap, Incredible Suds, to really break down some of the coating.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't let it cross-link into your towel, and then it won't be hydrophobic later, right? You want these to continue to be absorbent. Put them in your wash after, and they will be perfectly ready to use again.
Applicator, same thing. Now, I'm not going to apply more coating to the applicator. This is the one area that I'm actually going to use a little bit of pressure on my applicator. I'm going to apply to the windshield, and by applying a little bit of pressure when needed, I'm going to basically squeeze out any coating that can be in here. When we put it in our wash bucket, it's going to prevent the coating from cross-linking, and our applicator will be good for another round or 2. And Nick, before he puts his towels in the wash bucket, same deal, he's going to use them on the glass. And just like we say, you always want to decontaminate your windows, well, you always want to coat them as well. Just makes seeing so much easier, especially in the rain.
And Ivan, that wraps it up.
Exactly. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas, leave them below. We love reading your comments. We love answering your questions. It's what we enjoy doing.
Perhaps you got through this video and you're thinking, I want to go down the rabbit hole and learn more about polishing paint.
Yeah.
I see that you use the palm sander. I love the results, but I want professional tools in my hand. If you want to know more about our polishing system, different tools, we're going to send you to this video. It's a great way to learn more about polishing paint.